How you doing, guys? It's Darius1224 here, and I'm here to talk about the current state of affairs of the Divas division on the main roster in WWE. Why just the main roster? Because right now, the Divas division in NXT is damn near perfect. It's actually the reason why I even care about Divas anymore. There was a point where I didn't care, but watching those women on NXT give their heart out and put out compelling programming and damn near performing just as well as the males made me care about the female product in WWE. Right now, the state of affairs are horrible for the main roster. No one truly cares about what's going on the main roster. The matches are boring, the storytelling is horrible, and it's pretty much the same people doing the same shit. I don't want to make this a rant, but I feel like it's going to be anyway. So shit, why not call it a rant? What we saw, it's now the Monday after Money in the Bank 2015, and I just got done doing a video with Deli X Man. Wasn't too proud about it because it was a little choppy. I didn't get a chance to. I had to do it over Google Hangouts, and my connection wasn't that great. But I talked about it briefly there. But I want to talk about even more here because, like I said, we know because it's a useful asset that's not being used on the main roster. It's a bore. So the main question is, why is something on a developmental show working so well than something that's on your main show? Well, like I said before, it's the characters, it's the storytelling, it's caring about who's out there wrestling. And right now, there's nobody out there wrestling that I give a fuck about. The most popular woman on there is the Bellas. And there's so many bad things I can say about the Bellas. But I'm going to say one good thing. They have come a long way from where they began. They came out as valets and they barely could wrestle. And now the girls, they can wrestle a little bit. They're not as good as the girls on NXT, but the girls can wrestle. And I do give them that. But that's the only thing I can give them. They're boring as hell, uncharacteristic. I didn't say that word right. And pretty much, just stalling the division. I think they're probably the main reason why the division is in such shambles. Don't get me wrong, they're popular as all hell. I don't know why, with women and men. I know why with men, because they got big boobs and a big ass. Well, at least Nikki does. And besides that, I don't know why. I literally don't know why they're so fucking popular. They're literally just, I guess they play the bad girls, but that's it. I mean, I feel like the only reason they're gotten the push that they did get is because they're on that shitty E show, Total Divas, and each one of them is fucking a main star on the WWE roster. One married him, so which always made me wonder, like, how does that happen? How does two women in the Divas division marry at the moment, two of the top guys in WWE, Daniel Bryan and John Cena? They didn't just marry some mid-carders or some people that are not even on the show, some NXT guys. They married two of the biggest stars on there. Well, one married them, one's blowing them. But that's a different story. These women, they care more about that damn show on E than they do about the product. And don't get me wrong, I was actually interested in that show for the first 2 seasons. I watched a little bit of it. I found it intriguing. You got to see a little bit of the backstage part, and you even got to see a little bit of the wrestlers that I enjoy, in their normal habitats, in their normal, how they run their normal days. And I like that. Part of the reason, if not most of the reason, why I enjoyed it. But, I stopped watching it because I realized it's just some scripted bullshit. It's pretty much all of it's fucking scripted. And it's like, it's just as scripted as the shows they put on any other night on a Raw or pay-per-view. And like I said, the girls on there, it feels like they care more about that damn product than they do on the Total Divas than they do what's in the ring. Now, Nikki Bella and the Bellas said that they don't. That's not the truth. The only thing they care about is the ring and becoming champion, yada, 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 bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But that's not what it looks like. It looks like you guys only care about Total Divas. And you know what? It feels like the main roster. It feels like the WWE only cares about Total Divas, not what's, in the ring. That's not the case for NXT. They actually, the people who run NXT and people who are booking NXT, they actually care about the product and the wrestling and everything over there. But the people who run the main show, they only care about it feels like they only care about, Total Divas. And they're just on there to promote Total Divas. It's I hate the fact that it's like that. And part of the reason why I don't want the women from NXT to come up is because I don't want them to fall into that trap. Their production falls off, and they're not as wrestling as they're not wrestling as good as they used to, because they're too worried about Total Divas. Which takes me to Paige. Paige, when Paige was in NXT, she was amazing. She was great. For the longest time, I felt like when Paige came up to the main roster, she wasn't the same. Like, she truly wasn't the same, especially since she got on that damn Total Divas show. She just wasn't the same. I would have never thought Paige would have joined Total Divas. But, she did, and she was the so-called anti-diva, and she became just like the rest of these girls, women. And a lot of people don't see that. They think that Paige is fine. Paige is still one of the top wrestlers on the main roster. And I think she still is, but, she's not showing it, and she's definitely not proving it right now. I feel like if she was back on NXT, it would give her more passion, more heart to try. But, if you're around somebody and ain't nobody else giving it, giving a half-ass attempt and caring more about something else, it's just you out there. And one girl who's on Total Divas that I'm happy with what she did, she went back to NXT, and she's going back to developmental, which she should. She should work on her character. I'm talking about even Maria, of course. And she should work on her wrestling, which she's doing. That's good. If you're going to be on Total Divas, do that. But I feel like Total Divas just hinders everybody. And that would be my number one thing. I know it draws a certain crowd that normally isn't watching wrestling to wrestling, but it's just too much of a hindrance to the main wrestling's product. Or you got to separate the two things. You can't have this and that, because it's hard to respect these girls, when they're on there, because, they're bitching and they're moaning about the stupidest shit on Total Divas. And wait a minute, they are bitching, moaning about the stupidest shit in the rings too. So it's just, if I had it my way, I would just get rid of Total Divas. Or, Pavi, if you're on Total Divas, you're not on the main roster. You're on Superstars and Main Event, and that's it. When in regards to other things, like how we would change it, there really needs to be fresh faces in there. There was a fresh face in there for a minute, and she was battling Nikki, and that was Naomi. But like I said in my video with Daily X-Man, Naomi didn't get a reaction. A lot of people didn't like Naomi. I like Naomi. I felt like Naomi was one of the best 3 wrestlers on the main roster, her and Natalya and Paige. But she just wasn't getting a reaction. Some people say it's because she's African American. I don't know. Some people say she didn't have enough character, which she really didn't, if you think about it. But she had enough talent, and they should have gave her a shot. But they obviously are moving on from her, and hopefully she does get another shot, because I feel like she deserves it. She's come a long way too. Right now we're still doing this Bella versus Paige rivalry. It looks like we're going to do that into Battleground. They need to cut it off, or they need to start something new and bring an NXT diva up, NXT women's wrestler up, and preferably Charlotte, because she's been there the longest. She's the most ready, and get that shot of adrenaline that this division needs. I understand that Total Diva, if you're going to keep Total Divas, and if you're going to keep the girls on Total Divas and have it a big part of that, then the wrestling needs to be on par. You need to make us care. And right now, we don't give a fuck, because, like I said, you're more worried about that damn Total Divas product. So, instead of me talking about everything that's wrong, well, how can we fix it? Well, you start making us care about the characters. Give us some backstory with some of these women on why they're fighting. One of the big reasons why I have a problem with, while Paige says, it's time for change, it's time for change, when she's arguing the Bellas to get off their pedestal and give it the title, but you're not telling us exactly why there needs to be change. Do you feel like the Bellas aren't the best and they just cheat all the time, and that they care more about something else? They know they're not as committed. You need to say that. You need to say that with passion, and you need to get it to the fans. If you need to be passionate about what you're talking about, and you have to show it every night. You can't. If you only another people, and then people say, well, they don't have enough time to get across everything. They don't have enough time. 12 minutes or 10 minutes isn't enough time. If you really cared about something, it's more than enough time. Those girls on NXT, they don't get NXT's only an hour show. Some of them don't get 5 minutes or 2. They don't get a lot of time to do what they do. But what they do, when they do it, they make you care. So don't give me that shit that it's not enough time. Because if you were doing your job and if you're passionate about it, 5 minutes would be just enough time. The Rock, Stone Cold, would be able to capture people in 10 seconds, so just by a stare. They didn't even have to talk. So don't give me that, it's them. It's about your product. It's about putting it out there. It's about putting on the best matches. Now, if you have to fight for more spots in your matches, do it, because these matches need more spots. There's a bunch of spots, big spots in the NXT matches, and that's why they're so good. There's barely any big spots in the Divas matches. Barely any. You need to start taking more chances on these matches. Make us care about what's going on, because these matches are horrible. I'm just come out and say horrible. They're the drags of the nights usually, and they're fucking god awful. And that's how you start. You start telling storytellers in a match. You start doing storytelling in matches. You start attacking limbs. You start using foreign objects. I know women aren't doing that anymore, but you do it. You start telling stories in the ring, and then it helps tell stories out the ring. You involve people's outside elements. Like you take things that people care about in the outside row, and you put that in the storytelling in these rivalries, and that will help immensely too. That's about it. I can't think of anything else that I'll probably have another video when I think of anything else. But if there's anything that you think I should touch on, anything that you think that wrong with the Divas division, what do you think might help? Or right now where the state of the Divas division is, comment it down below and let me know, and I'll definitely put it in the next vid. All right, guys, it's Darius1224 going away. I'll talk to you guys later.